Have you ever felt disrespected? Not by loud betrayals, but by the quiet kind. A subtle smirk, a dismissive glance, that silence when your voice should have been heard. Disrespect doesn't always come crashing down like a storm. Sometimes it's the slow erosion, little moments that chip away at your sense of worth. And over time, even the strongest relationships can sink under the weight of these small cracks if we don't address them. But here's something the Stoics knew well. Respect isn't something you beg for. It's not about demanding attention. It's something you radiate through presence, character, and quiet strength. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You don't need to control others to be respected. You just need to master one thing, yourself. So the real question becomes, what if the way to be respected isn't about changing other people, but about changing how you carry yourself? In this video, we're diving into 10 timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy. Lessons that will help you walk through life with unshakable dignity. You'll learn how to recognize the hidden signs of disrespect, how to respond with calm instead of conflict, and how to rebuild relationships where trust and respect have faded. These are not just ideas. These are tools, practical, powerful tools that you can apply today. Whether you're navigating a toxic workplace, setting boundaries in your personal life, or simply wanting to show up more grounded and confident, what we cover here can change the way people see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. And I promise this isn't about becoming emotionless or cold. Stoicism isn't about shutting down. It's about opening up to clarity, to strength, to inner peace, and letting that guide your actions. So if you've ever felt dismissed, talked over, or like your worth wasn't being seen, this is for you. Because the most powerful transformation doesn't come from shouting louder, it comes from standing taller. In silence, take a moment, breathe in, and if this message already speaks to something inside you, stick with me till the end. Because these 10 lessons could very well shift the way you move through the world. And if you're ready to step into a life of quiet power and lasting respect, comment below, I choose inner strength. Let's begin. Stoic Lesson 1, Compassion is Strength. Let me ask you something. When you hear the word compassion, what comes to mind? For many, it sounds soft, maybe even weak, like something passive, something people take advantage of. But in Stoic philosophy, compassion isn't weakness. It's not pity. And it's definitely not about letting people walk all over you. Compassion is strength. It's strength anchored in wisdom. The wisdom to recognize suffering in yourself and in others, and respond with understanding instead of judgment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, once said, "Whenever you're about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what fault of mine most closely resembles the one I'm about to criticize?" That quote hits hard because it flips the lens from blame to humility, from distance to connection. You see, true compassion starts from within. It begins the moment you stop punishing yourself for not being perfect. You recognize your flaws, not as excuses, but as realities to grow from. And when you can accept your own imperfections, you naturally become more forgiving of others. Have you ever noticed that? The more grace you give yourself, the more grace you're able to offer the world. Now, compassion isn't just about how you feel, it's about how you act. A kind word, a moment of patience, listening not to reply but to understand. These small, intentional choices ripple outward, shaping the way others feel around you and how they respond to you. And here's where it gets powerful. When you embody compassion, you don't have to demand respect. People feel it. They're drawn to it. They trust it. Compassion diffuses conflict. It bridges gaps. It turns arguments into understanding, and sometimes even into healing. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine someone lashes out at you unfairly. Maybe they're having the bad day. Maybe they're projecting their own pain. Your first instinct? Defend yourself. Fire back. Prove them wrong. But a Stoic takes a breath. They pause and ask, what's really going on here? And how can I respond without losing myself? That's compassion in action. And the truth is, this mindset doesn't just protect your peace. It commands respect, quietly, powerfully, without ever having to raise your voice. So if you've been taught that compassion makes you soft, I want to invite you to challenge that belief, because the world doesn't need more coldness. It needs people who are strong enough to lead with understanding and wise enough to know when kindness is the most courageous choice. If this message speaks to something inside you, drop a comment below. Compassion is my power. And let's keep going, because the next Stoic principle will show you how to use your words as a force for peace and power. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 2. Speak with purpose. Be heard with respect. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room where someone said very little, but when they finally spoke, everyone listened? That's not luck. That's not status. That's the power of right speech. The Stoics understood that words aren't just sounds we throw into the air. They're tools. Tools that shape our reality, build our reputation, and define how others respond to us. In a world full of noise, people who speak with intention stand out. And more importantly, they are respected. So what does Stoicism teach us about using our words wisely? First, speak the truth. Honesty is the foundation of trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. Think about it. When someone is known for being honest, they never have to demand credibility. It's simply given to them. Even when they make mistakes, people listen because they know this person isn't here to manipulate, but to speak with integrity. Let's say you're in a meeting and you drop the ball. You could try to hide it, blame the system, shift attention, but the better move? Own it. Say, that was my oversight, and here's how I'm going to fix it. That kind of accountability earns far more respect than any excuse ever will. But truth alone isn't enough. Your tone matters, your timing matters, and your intention matters. Stoicism teaches us that words should be kind, constructive, and purposeful, especially in conflict. It's not about sugarcoating the truth or avoiding hard conversations. It's about delivering truth with clarity and calm, not anger and ego. Next time you disagree with someone, ask yourself, am I speaking to hurt them or to help them understand? The difference is everything. And here's a lesson most people overlook. Silence is speech too. Not every situation needs your opinion. Not every insult deserves your reaction. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. The person who knows when to speak and when to stay silent commands a quiet authority that can't be faked. So here's something to reflect on. Are your words building something meaningful, or are they just filling space? Because the way you speak, or choose not to, is how the world learns who you are. Respect isn't earned by speaking the most. It's earned by speaking with purpose, wisdom, and restraint. If this resonates with you, drop a comment. I choose my words with intention, and stick around because the next Stoic lesson will teach you how to cultivate presence, even in the case, and earn respect without saying a word. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 3, The Power of Presence. Here's something most people never realize. Respect doesn't come from being the loudest person in the room, it comes from being the most present. In Stoic philosophy, mindfulness isn't a trendy habit or a quick fix. It's a way of being, a quiet discipline that builds strength from the inside out. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who didn't say much, but when they did, their words landed deeply? Or someone who never rushed to react, who stayed calm, grounded, steady, even when things got tense? That's the power of mindfulness. In today's world, it's easy to get caught in reactivity. Someone criticizes us, we defend ourselves. Someone blames us unfairly, we snap back. But here's what the Stoics knew. You don't have to react to every emotion. You can pause, breathe, and choose your response, not based on pride, but on purpose. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague wrongly blames you for something that went wrong. Your heart pounds, your face flushes. The instinct to defend yourself kicks in hard. But instead of firing back, you take a breath. You respond with clarity and composure. I understand the concern. It looks like the issue came from the system, and I'll coordinate with the tech team to resolve it. In that moment, you've done something powerful. You stood your ground, without aggression. You showed self-respect, without needing to dominate. That's mindfulness. And it commands a level of respect that no ego-driven outburst ever could. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, often wrote about this practice, taking time to sit in silence, reflect, breathe deeply, and stay centered, even when chaos swirled around them. You don't need hours of meditation to practice mindfulness. You just need moments. Moments to pause before you speak. Moments to observe before you judge. Moments to ground yourself before the emotion takes the wheel. Because here's the truth. People feel your energy more than your words. When you walk into a room calm and centered, you shift the space. You set a tone. You raise the bar. Respect follows those who respect themselves. And self-respect begins with presence. So the next time life tries to push your buttons, ask yourself, am I reacting or responding? And if you've ever seen how a mindful pause changed the direction of a conversation or even a relationship, share your story in the comments, because sometimes the greatest strength you can show is simply staying still. Let's keep going, because the next Stoic lesson will show you how forgiveness isn't weakness, it's liberation. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 4, Forgiveness is Freedom. Let me ask you something. Who are you still carrying? Maybe it's someone who lied to you, someone who broke a promise, someone who made you feel small and never apologized. Or maybe the person you can't forgive is yourself. Here's what the Stoics teach us, and what I believe with all my heart. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give to others. It's a gift you give to yourself. We often think that forgiving someone means excusing their behavior, pretending it didn't hurt. But forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about refusing to let the pain rule your life. It's saying, yes, this happened, yes, it hurt, but no, it no longer gets to control me. When we hold on to resentment, it's like gripping a burning coal, hoping it hurts the other person. But the truth is, we're the ones getting burned. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best. People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. In other words, the pain isn't in the event, it's in how long you keep replaying it. Let me share a powerful example. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years, unjustly, cruelly, unfairly. But when he walked free, he chose forgiveness. Not because he forgot the past, but because he refused to stay imprisoned by anger. He once said, "As I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness behind, I'd still be in prison." That's not weakness. That's power, the kind that reshapes nations and hearts. But here's something even harder than forgiving others: forgiving yourself. How many times have you replayed an old mistake in your head? That thing you said, that choice you regret, that opportunity you missed. We all carry those moments. But Stoicism reminds us your past doesn't define you, unless you choose to stay there. You are not the sum of your worst decisions. You are the lesson that came from them. So the next time you feel trapped in guilt or anger, ask yourself, am I holding on to this because I can't let go, or because I haven't allowed myself to heal? Forgiveness isn't soft. It isn't passive. It's an act of courage, a decision to reclaim your peace. And when you choose it, something amazing happens. You feel lighter, clearer, stronger. You stop reacting out of pain and start living from a place of power. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to leave a comment below. I choose to forgive, and stay with me, because the next Stoic principle will show you how letting go of attachment makes you untouchable. Let's keep going. Stoic Lesson 5. Letting go to become untouchable. What if the secret to lasting peace wasn't in gaining more, but in needing less? In today's world, we're told to chase success, status, validation. We measure worth by titles, possessions, likes, and applause. But here's the truth the Stoics knew long ago. You are not what you own. You are not what others think of you. And the moment you stop tying your identity to those things, you become free. This is the power of non-attachment. And no, it doesn't mean not caring. It means caring deeply about the right thing, your values, your effort, your integrity, without clinging to the things outside your control. Let's break it down. First, detach from outcomes. You can give your best. You can plan, prepare, commit fully, and still life might not give you the result you hoped for. The Stoics remind us, focus on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, your discipline. Because real success isn't found in the outcome, it's found in your consistency, your growth, and your peace regardless of the outcome. Think of it this way. If you only feel valuable when you win, then every failure will crush you. But if you value effort, progress over perfection, you become resilient. Next, detach from possessions. The more your identity is wrapped up in what you have, the easier it is to lose yourself. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, said, "Wealth is the slave of a wise man, the master of a fool." True freedom comes not from having more, but from needing less. Live simply, own what you love, but don't let it own you. When you're content with less, you become unshakable, because no one can take your peace from you when your peace doesn't depend on things. Finally, let go of the need for approval. So many people spend their lives trying to earn respect, trying to be seen. But the most powerful people aren't chasing validation. They're walking their path, grounded in self-respect, even if no one is clapping. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to be aligned with who you are. And when you live that way, with quiet confidence, with detachment from praise or criticism, something beautiful happens. People respect you not because you asked for it, but because they can feel your strength. So here's the question. What are you holding on to? That's actually holding you back. Letting go doesn't mean losing, it means reclaiming your freedom. If this message speaks to you, comment below. I let go to grow. And keep watching, because the next Stoic lesson will reveal why humility isn't about lowering yourself, but about rising above ego. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 6, The Quiet Strength of Humility. Here's something most people get wrong. Being humble doesn't mean being small. It means being strong enough to not need to prove anything. In a world obsessed with recognition, the Stoics remind us, true power isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't seek approval. It stands grounded in quiet confidence and open curiosity. That's humility. Humility is not about putting yourself down. It's about knowing your limits and being wise enough to admit them. The person who says, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn, is far more powerful than the one pretending they have all the answers. Why? Because humility keeps you growing. It opens the door to knowledge, wisdom, and real connection. When you stop trying to appear perfect, you become more approachable, more relatable, and paradoxically, more respected. Here's something to think about. When was the last time someone admitted they were wrong, and you admired them even more because of it? That's the kind of strength humility builds. But humility isn't just about ourselves. It's also about how we treat others. When we take the time to recognize someone's effort, to say thank you, or I see what you did and it mattered, we create an environment where respect flows both ways. In a culture that often rewards self-promotion, the simple act of appreciating others can feel rare, and yet it's one of the most powerful things you can do. And here's a powerful Stoic truth. Serving others without expecting anything in return is the ultimate expression of strength. Seneca once wrote, while we teach, we learn. When we give, whether it's time, knowledge, or support, we're not just helping others grow, we're expanding ourselves. It's not weakness to lift others, it's wisdom. And in every strong community, you'll find people who lead by service, not ego. So today, ask yourself, am I showing up to impress or to contribute? Am I holding space for others to shine, or am I competing to be seen? Because the truth is, people don't follow those who shout the loudest. They follow those who lead with humility. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below. I choose to lead with humility. And stick around, because the next Stoic lesson reveals why patience isn't passive. It's one of the greatest forms of strength. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 7. Patience is power, not passivity. Let's be honest. How patient are you really? We live in a world of instant everything. Instant answers, instant approval, instant results. But when life gets messy, when goals take longer than expected, or people disappoint us, patience becomes something far more than just waiting. According to the Stoics, patience isn't passive. It's power. Not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that masters yourself. Think about it. Anyone can react. Someone offends you. You snap back. Plans fall apart. You spiral. That's easy. What's hard, what's truly strong, is choosing to respond with reason instead of emotion. Picture this. An employee, let's call him Philip, is in a meeting. Out of nowhere, a colleague publicly insults him, blaming him for a mistake he didn't make. The room goes quiet. Tension builds. Most people would lash out, defend their name, fight back. But Philip, he takes a breath. He responds calmly, privately, later addressing the issue one-on-one, without drama. And here's what happens. Instead of a public argument, there's mutual understanding. Instead of losing respect, he earns more of it. That's the quiet strength of patience. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about not being ruled by them. Patience gives you space to observe clearly. It helps you process pain without becoming bitter. It allows you to pursue your goals with grit, even when results don't come fast. Let's be real. How many people give up on dreams not because they failed, but because they got tired of waiting? The Stoics saw obstacles not as stop signs, but as invitations to grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Patience helps you turn setbacks into stepping stones. And here's something even deeper. When you're patient, you forgive more easily, not just others, but yourself. You begin to understand that people make mistakes, and so do you. But growth takes time. Healing takes time. Mastery takes time. Patience isn't weakness, it's endurance with wisdom. It's the strength to keep showing up, even when life tests you again and again. So ask yourself, where in your life could patience be your greatest power? Maybe it's in a relationship, a career path, or your own journey of self-worth. Whatever it is, remember, the world may rush you, but you don't have to rush yourself. If this speaks to you, drop a comment below. I choose patience over pressure. And don't go anywhere, because the next Stoic lesson will show you why kindness isn't soft. It's one of the most resilient forces you can carry. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 8. Kindness is strength, not softness. In a world that often rewards toughness and pride, kindness can feel underrated, even misunderstood. But the truth is, kindness is not weakness. It's not being naive. It's not being a pushover. Kindness, when rooted in strength and intention, is one of the most powerful forces you can carry. The Stoics understood this long before the modern world tried to frame kindness as fragility. To them, kindness was a reflection of inner mastery. It means being grounded enough to respond with grace, even when others don't. It means choosing empathy over ego, clarity over cruelty. Let me ask you, have you ever met someone who was firm, confident, even respected, but also deeply kind? Their kindness wasn't loud. It didn't beg for attention, but it changed the room. It made you feel safe, and it made you want to listen. That's real strength, because let's be honest, it takes far more courage to be kind in the face of tension than to react with anger or pride. Kindness isn't just about how we treat others. It's also about how we treat ourselves. Many people are quick to forgive others, but harsh on themselves. They replay their mistakes, criticize their choices, and carry guilt like armor. But the Stoics remind us, you can't give what you don't have. Self-respect starts with self-compassion. When you learn to forgive yourself, to speak to yourself with honesty and patience, you unlock a deeper kind of strength, the kind that doesn't need outside validation. And here's what's beautiful. When kindness is consistent, it creates loyalty, respect, and trust without force. Think about leaders you admire. Were they the ones who ruled by fear, or the ones who lifted others with quiet strength? True kindness paired with wisdom inspires. It sets a tone. It invites others to rise without being pushed. That's the kind of energy that can transform teams, relationships, even entire communities. And it starts small, a sincere compliment, a patient response, a willingness to listen even when you disagree. These aren't random acts. They're daily expressions of your values, and they ripple outward in ways you may never fully see. So here's the question. Where can you choose kindness today? Not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. If this message resonates with you, comment below. Kindness is my strength. And don't go anywhere, because the final Stoic lesson will bring it all together with one virtue that holds the power to elevate everything you've learned. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 9. Gratitude is unshakable strength. Here's something we often forget. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling, it's a discipline. It's not just about saying thank you when things go well. It's about choosing to see value, even when life feels unfair or incomplete. The Stoics knew this deeply. They understood that a grateful heart isn't just happier, it's stronger. Because when you live with gratitude, you stop chasing what's missing and start standing firm in what you already have. Let me ask you, how much energy have you lost worrying about what you don't have? A better job, a better body, more recognition, more money. It's endless, isn't it? But the moment you shift focus from lack to presence, something powerful happens. You find peace, you breathe easier, and surprisingly, you begin attracting more respect from others. Because people can feel it when you're not desperate for more. You carry yourself differently. You're grounded, whole, enough. One of the simplest yet most transformative practices is gratitude journaling. Every morning or evening, take just 2 minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. Not big things, small, real things. A warm coffee, a kind word, a lesson learned, even if it came from failure. This habit rewires your brain. Over time, you begin to notice what's good instead of what's lacking. And that awareness changes everything, from how you handle stress to how you connect with others. Gratitude also simplifies your life. You stop needing so much. You stop comparing. You start appreciating. You begin to realize that joy doesn't come from getting more. It comes from noticing more. And in that mindset, you become magnetic. Because people respect those who are content, who aren't always proving, grasping, or complaining. They admire those who can find light even in dark moments. So here's something to reflect on. Are you practicing gratitude daily, or only when life gives you what you want? Gratitude isn't a reaction, it's a choice. It's an act of quiet strength, and it's available to you right now. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Gratitude is my foundation. And thank you for watching, for being here, and for choosing to grow. Up next, the final Stoic principle that ties everything together and ensures you don't just demand respect, you live in a way that naturally earns it. Let's finish strong. Stay with me. Stoic Lesson 10. Self-discipline is the path to inner freedom. Let's talk about a word that doesn't get nearly enough respect in today's world. Self-discipline. It's not glamorous, it's not instantly rewarding, and it rarely gets applause. But behind every person you admire, every leader, every artist, every quietly powerful human, there's one common thread: the ability to govern themselves even when no one is watching. The Stoics believed this was the highest form of power, not control over others, but control over yourself. Over your impulses, your distractions, your desire to quit when things get uncomfortable. Let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you actually followed through on what you said you wanted? Woke up when you said you would, ate what fuels you instead of what comforts you, stayed calm when emotions try to hijack you, spoke with clarity instead of defensiveness. That version of you, that's not someone you have to find. That's someone you build through discipline. And here's the truth most people miss. Self-discipline is not a punishment. It's not about living a joyless, rigid life. In fact, it's the opposite. Because when you master your habits, you stop being a prisoner of them. You stop living on autopilot, reacting to every craving, mood, or external pressure. And you start living with intention. It's in the small moments that no one sees, the choice to show up, to hold back, to stay focused, that real self-respect is forged. And people notice. Even if they don't say it, they feel it. Your consistency, your calmness, your inner strength. Discipline earns respect not through noise, but through quiet example. But more than how others see you, discipline shapes how you see yourself. It builds trust in yourself. You stop breaking promises to the mirror, and that changes everything. So what's one area of your life where self-discipline could unlock a new level of freedom? Maybe it's your routine, your mindset, your reactions. Wherever it is, remember this. Discipline is not a cage. It's a key to self-respect, a key to freedom, a key to becoming someone you're truly proud of when no one else is looking. If this message resonates, drop a comment below. I choose discipline over distraction. And if you've been with me through all 10 Stoic lessons, thank you. This journey has never been about perfection. It's about practice, and the more we practice, the more unshakable we become. Let's keep going together. So here we are, 10 Stoic principles that don't just help you gain respect. They help you become someone who naturally attracts it. And the best part, you're not chasing approval. You're not demanding recognition. You're building something far more powerful, self-respect. From mindfulness to kindness, from letting go to gratitude. Each principle leads you closer to a calm mind, a steady heart, and a life that speaks for itself. Because real respect doesn't come from raising your voice. It comes from raising your standards. And when you live by these standards, not perfectly, but consistently, you begin to notice something shift. People listen when you speak. They mirror your calm. They trust your presence. That's the power of inner alignment. That's what Stoicism was always about. So if this video helps shift your perspective, if even one idea stuck with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's more to come, and each lesson is designed to help you grow stronger, clearer, and more grounded than ever. Thanks for being here. Let's keep walking this path together.